Kia ora koutou, and welcome to Tribal Nations afternoon radio show here for the first Thursday in November here in Arrow FM in Masterton, broadcasting out of Arrow FM in Masterton on 92.7. This is Tribal Nations Te Upoko Horowhenua Radio, and we've got some special guests in the studio today. I'd like to introduce everybody to Brother Chris Ingle.
Kia ora whānau.
Brother Matt Shackleton.
Kia ora, guys.
And Brother Darcy Tilliard.
Kia ora.
And my lovely wife is in the studio with us today, sitting in and giving us some support. So hello, darling.
Kia ora, everybody.
That's very good. So the kaupapa of this month, whānau, is the White Ribbon kaupapa. And if anyone out there doesn't know what the White Ribbon is about, I'll give you a little bit of history and a context of what it's about. The White Ribbon campaign is a global movement of men and boys working to end male violence against women and girls. It was formed by a group of pro-feminist men in London, Ontario in November 1991 as a response to the Ecole Polytech massacre of female students by Mark Lapine in 1989. The campaign was intended to raise awareness about the prevalence of male violence against women, and the ribbon symbolises the idea of men giving up their arms. Active in over 60 countries, the movement seeks to promote healthy relationships, gender equality, and compassionate vision of masculinity. So that's a little bit of the history of the White Ribbon. So it's active in over 60 countries. We've got members in our motorcycle club taking up the challenge of taking the White Ribbon kaupapa all over the country this month. So we're looking forward to highlighting and talking to them about their journey and highlighting their mission and highlighting the kaupapa as well. And it'll all culminate on White Ribbon Day, which is the 25th of November. It's the international day when people wear a white ribbon to show that they do not condone violence towards women. It was started by a men's movement in Canada in 1991, like I've just said, and it's been officially adopted by the United Nations as an international day for the elimination of violence against women. The campaign was introduced to New Zealand by UNIFEM, the United Nations Development Fund for Women. In this country, most violence by men against women takes place in the home, with an average of 14 women a year killed by their partners or ex-partners. Each year, there are over 3,500 convictions recorded against men for assaults on women, and 1 in 5 women will experience sexual assault or sexual interference at some point in their lives. White Ribbon Day celebrates the many men willing to show leadership and commitment to promoting safe, healthy relationships within families, and encourages men to challenge each other on attitudes and behaviour that are abusive. White Ribbon came to New Zealand in 2004, and the Families Commission became the lead agency in 2006. The White Ribbon Committee provided the advice on which the campaign acted. In 2014, the White Ribbon Trust took over the responsibility for the campaign. So there's a little background in the history of White Ribbon here in Aotearoa as well. So with all of that in mind, I think we'll play a song by a White Ribbon rider who is going to be riding with the kaupapa down in the South Island. So whakarongo mai whānau.
Mauri ora whānau!
Get on up, people. No more violence.
We are one family, the way it was meant to be. Together, you and me will stay. Ooh, yeah. Lift your head up high, reach and touch the sky, have faith, love, peace and harmony, woman, man and child, we must all decide our fate. Yeah, look it on up, people. No more violence anymore. Get on up, people. No more fighting anymore. Darkness through the night, shine your light so bright and say, we are one family, the way it was meant to be. Together, you and me will stay. Ooh, yeah.
Well, there you go, whānau. That's a beautiful song there, beautiful waiata by our vice president of our club, who's taking the kaupapa onto the road to the South Island. So we wish those members of the whānau all the best and safe travels on their journeys, taking the kaupapa around the motu on both islands. There's going to be 2 rides. There's the North Island ride, and it's leaving out of Porirua, and we'll end up back in, I think, Wellington. And then I've sorted that out. And then the South Island ride will be heading all the way down to Invercargill from, I think they're leaving from Picton or Nelson or something like that. I'll check up later on in the week. But anyway, so good luck to those members of the whānau and all the riders taking the kaupapa out to the country. So, brothers, what does the white ribbon mean to you fellas?
I think the white ribbon is very important, especially for the people that have actually been victims and now survivors. It's a unity where we can all be more aware and respectful, and it's not okay. So, but it is okay to get help, and that's what it's all about, is making it aware that there are people out there that can help. You know, your life doesn't have to carry on like this.
Kia ora, brother.
Kia ora, guys. I think to me it's a really big thing in my family and in my friends and Martinborough region, respecting women, you know. I mean, you know, they give you so much, you know, they turn, you know, a home into a house, you know. They give you children, and you know, it's not right to actually take advantage of them or abuse them. Us males, you know, we can be pretty intimidating sometimes, and don't need to be. So,
Right on, brother. Kia ora.
What does it mean to me? It means changing my ways. That's what it means to me. You know, to become a better person. Always look at myself in the mirror and, you know, like challenge myself to be a better person, especially when it comes to women. They give so much, and you know, we don't appreciate that as much as we should. And so my goal is to treat them like, treat my wife like she's a queen, because that's what she is. And don't come out with my adult male attitude. Oh, she'll be right, mate. You know, like I just got to treat her right, and if I can do that, then my kids will see that, and they will respond, hopefully, with their woman in their lives. Treat her like a lady.
Yes, I'm with that, especially with my wife sitting beside me. I can, I better, yeah. No, I'm totally with that. That's beautiful, kōrero. It's all about respectful relationships, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Respectful relationships for our wahine. You know, acknowledging them for the people that they are, the beautiful people that they are, and what they do for us. Like you said, Matt, what they do for our whānaus, what they do for us. It's empowering. But also, fellas, while we're here, I know that some of you haven't taken the White Ribbon Pledge yet. So part of my role as a White Ribbon Ambassador is to challenge men to take that White Ribbon Pledge. So have a look at that there, boys.
Awesome.
And I'll get you to take that pledge, Brother Chris.
Yeah, no problems. We'll gladly do it. Kia ora. I will stand up and speak out and act to prevent men's violence towards women.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, guys. I will stand up, speak out, and act to prevent men's violence towards women.
Yep. I will stand up and speak out, and I won't let anyone act with violence towards women.
Kia ora whānau. And yeah, I'll say that again too. I will stand up, speak out, and act to prevent men's violence towards women. That means I'll act to prevent violence towards women. So yeah, I'm proud to take that pledge as a White Ribbon Ambassador. For my mahi, for my work, I was nominated by my colleagues at work to be a White Ribbon Ambassador because of the mahi that I'm doing in the community and my position in our organisation. I'm seen as someone who could speak to that kaupapa and challenge other men to take the pledge and challenge them with regard to their behaviour towards not only women but others, because our workplace is a diverse place, and like I said before, it's about respectful relationships. And I like the message this year, the campaign, the White Ribbon message this year is about challenging the unspoken rules and challenging the stereotypes. And challenging the unspoken rules are the expectations that boys and young men inherit from society based on outdated ideas of what a man is, how he acts, and how he should express himself. Even if we don't agree with them, these rules still exist silently in the background for too many. Rules like be the man, toughen up, boys don't cry. These unspoken rules put pressure on boys and young men to behave in certain ways and dismiss unmanly behaviour, leading them to suppress their emotions and their individuality. This affects how our boys and young men feel about themselves and how they treat others. This affects how they approach their relationships and can lead to them to act disrespectfully, even violently, toward their partners. We have the opportunity to use our voices as parents, caregivers, and influencers to speak up over the unspoken rules. By saying out loud to our boys and young men that it's okay for them to be who they are, we encourage them to define themselves as men who have respectful relationships protecting our whole community. Now that's a message that I really like, having respectful relationships protecting our whole community. I like some of the messages that are coming out of the campaign this year, and it's about respectful relationships across the board. and it's also promoting non-violence towards men and children as well. So they are sort of values that our club rocks with as well. Our club holds those values dear as well. So that's music to my ears when I hear those sorts of things, and I'm able to promote those ideas and those values. I feel proud. I'll be proud to do that. So that's good, isn't it, whānau?
Oh, definitely. Yep.
100%.
Challenging the unspoken rules. There's a bit of a hashtag there. I don't know really. I'm not up to speed with what hashtag means, but I see that all over the place. Hashtag this and hashtag that. But hashtag unspoken rules is seems to be the trendy thing to go with. So yeah. So what, if that means something to you, hashtag unspoken rules. Respectful relationships. Anyone got anything to add on that?
I think at the end of the day, that's actually the key word here, along with breaking the cycle. Respectful relationships. If people don't know, or if they not have been in respectful relationships, it's hard to know what they are. And this is where it's all about breaking the cycle. You know, the way you were brought up in life and society is not the way that it has to continue, and I think that's the most important thing, that we need to really make people aware that there are organisations now where you can get help, you can break the cycle. You know, if you don't like the way things were done, don't do them, you know. And if you don't understand, there are a lot of agencies now out there trying to support people, and also being a survivor of sexual abuse and a lot of other abuses, and also doing a Men Against Violence course. I can honestly recommend it. It is the best thing for quality of life, especially if you don't understand the respectful relationships. It's amazing what you learn, and I honestly think that every single man in the world should actually do this course. It really is beneficial, and I honestly do suggest very hard. Have a look at it, guys. Hey, it's one night a week. You get a cup of coffee, you get a biscuit, you get to chat with a lot of people, and it's awesome. Thank you.
Kia ora, brother.
I don't think I could say that better than myself. But I wanted to say, though, just for those wondering, respectful to relationships, I think, we need to clarify on that. That's just not just partners. That's family, friends, and maybe clubs that you're in. Respectful to all the women and even men that's involved in them. They're all your relationships. And they get us out in the morning. They get us going and doing things. So we shouldn't take it for granted. And thank you.
Kia ora, brother. Have you got anything to add there, brother?
No, but this is an eye-opener to me, like the stand-up and the white ribbon. I've got to look at myself again. I'm using myself as an example of, growing up. I've seen it in the army of, the abuse that's happened there, of the old army boys coming back off their camps and taking it out on their loved ones. It's not on. My case, like I used to drink a lot of spirits and a lot of beer, and I didn't know when to stop, and it was just abusive. Like it's no good for any family. Like if you're a mad hatter in the family, like it's and everyone else isn't drinking, it's no good. Like you got to look at yourself and say, like this has got to stop. You got to, stand up and be accounted for. And at my late age, that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that my kids will, listen up, on this, and might take heed too. Not that they do, like I'm just saying that because I can. I just don't want anyone to do that to their family. And we got a lot of family around here. All my cousins out there in the Wairarapa, unfortunately, and a lot of gangs out there, like we've got the Nomads, we've got the Mongrel Mob, we've got the Killer Bees. Have I missed anyone out there? Black Power. They're all sort of angry people. Not all of them, but a lot of them in there are angry. They're trying to change now, actually, and which is good. But like in the old days, it's just all this get out there and create havoc, but it wasn't very good for your family. Today, I've still got two kids coming through college, and I hope they go through university, and they can only do all that if I'm on the right track with them. So yes, I'd rather have an intelligent conversation with my kids now instead of a slurry one where the old wihiki and bear takes over and they don't want to know what I'm on about. When it comes to my wife again, I love her dearly, and she's a very intelligent lady, and I should respect her that way. Not saying that I don't. I'm just saying, if everyone else is listening, maybe you'll go, maybe I should do the same. So, just take heed out there, I'm not putting anyone in it here because I'm in it myself. What I'm saying is we can all change.
Kia ora, brother. Yes, respect, Respect is a big thing. Respect for each other, respect for our whānau, respect for our children, and most of all, respect for our wahine. So, on that note, I'm going to play a song for the wahine and our whānau, and respect. Welcome back, whānau, to Tribal Nations Tūpoko Horowhenua Radio in the afternoon here in Masterton. We're broadcasting out of Arrow FM on 92.7. Thank you, Arrow FM, again for supporting Tribal Nations Tūpoko Horowhenua Radio. They've given us sponsored time again because they think that the message that we're getting out to the community is valid and an important message. So ngā mihi Arrow FM, thank you for your support. Like I said, this is White Ribbon Month. So there'll be a lot of activities going on around the month about raising awareness about white ribbons. And there'll be riders on the road starting from the week of the 16th of November, finishing in at about the 24th or 25th of November. And the 25th of November is White Ribbon Day. So that's the day that you'll see a lot of people wearing white ribbons. But don't let that day be the only day that you wear a white ribbon. I wear a white ribbon every day if I can remember to put it on. Because I've taken up that challenge. I've taken up the role as a white ribbon ambassador, and I've taken the pledge that I'll stand up, speak out, and act to prevent men's violence towards women. So I'm taking that seriously, and whānau, listen out for the kaupapa, and watch the roads for white ribbon riders. And if you see them, you'll know what they're up to. They're going to visit schools and other institutions and bring the kaupapa to them, which is a good thing to do. Now, our brother Chris has got a bit of a kōrero relevant to the message, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of his life experience with the message. Kia ora.
Thank you, Clint. Yeah, look, as I mentioned before, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, something that a lot of people don't talk about. And, it's the 2000s now, and we need to talk about it. Talk about it is healing for me, being here now. If I can reach out to one person tonight over the airwaves, and get them to really realise that, they don't have to live in hell, then, to me, that's part of my healing too. My abuse started as quite as far as I remember, as far as I remember, it started back as a child, a young child. And from what I remember, I was a very wayward child at school. I had a lot of issues with hierarchy, respect. Really, I didn't actually know what the word respect meant, and that sort of grew up into my teenage, and I think I thinking about it now, I was more reaching out, but didn't know what I was reaching out for, and ended up getting involved in drugs and alcohol abuse, and to me that was an escape of reality. I didn't have to worry about what I was feeling inside. I didn't have to worry about anything as long as I was under the influence of drugs, and if it wasn't drugs, it was alcohol, and it got to some pretty messy times. I'm very not proud of a lot of things that I've done in my life, but it's happened, whānau, and that's what you've got to realise. There is help out there, and you don't have to continue this way. Like the brother said before, the alcohol can, if used in the wrong way, it can be actually a very nasty thing. Destroys a lot of relationships, I'm very pleased now that I did actually realise that it took a few relationships for me to realise, but I'm rapt that I realised. And just going back, sexual abuse is something that can open up a lot of things for people. A lot of people I've known or heard of have gone down, unfortunately, the lonely path and ended up being committed suicide. I've lost a few friends through suicide. Another thing is it confuses the person. Look, it is okay if you have confusion over your sexuality. That is a normal thing. That is okay. If you think you're gay, look, it's the 2000s, guys. It doesn't matter whether you're gay. You're still a lovely person, and there's ways around things. So I'd just like people to know that if you have had a confusion in your life with sexual abuse, your sexuality, it's fine to be confused, and there is ways of getting help. ACC actually has a program. It's a sensitive claims program, and you can look up on the website. It's ACC Find Support is the website, and that links you into a lot of psychiatrists and a lot of different avenues, all funded by ACC. So there is a lot of things out there for help, and it's a matter of actually being aware, but also being there for people too. It is okay. It's not your fault, and we're going to walk this walk together. So for everyone out there, I hope that someone has listened tonight, and please, it's not the end of the world. Life for me is so much better now. I'm in a very loving, happy relationship. Got a very loving, supporting wife. Or wife-to-be, fiance, get it right, Chris. And, I've got stepchildren, I've got my own children, and, I'm really proud of them, and I'm also proud of where I've come from. I wear scars from the past, and I've actually, my way of healing is I look at those scars, and I look at that as a place where I never want to be again. And, meeting the brothers and sisters of tribal nations also has opened up another journey for myself, which I'm very excited about. They're lovely people, and, the patches look scary, but the smiles are awesome. So, if you see them out on the street, tribal nations guys, give them a wave. Awesome bunch of people. But I've now got my kids' names tattooed over my scars, and that's my happy place too, because my kids bring me happiness, and my kids cover the damage from the past. Thank you, whānau.
Kia ora, brother. Ngā mihi tō kōrero. Yes, speaking out and acknowledging it is powerful, eh? It's powerful. Thank you, brother. And, listen to that message out there. If you're, there are many people in our community who have gone through similar circumstances, and it's okay to talk, and it's okay to bring that stuff out, because, it takes a long time if you've been a victim of those sorts of things to be able to deal with it, and deal with it up front like Chris has, and to be able to talk about it publicly. But it must be an empowering thing for you, and it's every time you do that, it reaches out to others, and it's another bit of weight off your shoulders as well, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. In fact, the more I actually talk about it, it still occasionally brings a little bit of a swallow, but the more you talk about it, the more and the easier it actually comes. And talking about it is light, like the brother said. It's like lifting 20 kg bags of cement off your shoulders. Yeah. It's awesome.
I agree, bro. And it's you'd be surprised out there how many people can relate to that. When you open up like that, people will start to tell you their inner stories about their situation as well. So that's empowering. So listen to that, whānau. Try and get that's the message of the green ribbon and the white ribbon as well, is to open yourself up, challenge yourself to talk about these things, and then challenge your behaviours if you've got issues. Many of us through our lives have been victims of circumstances that weren't happy for us growing up. A lot of us saw or were victims of domestic abuse, and the domestic abuse wasn't just seeing seeing our mothers being abused. It was also the abuse could have come directly to us as well. But that does not give us an excuse to victimise others or to hurt others because someone has hurt us in those ways. I can never agree with that scenario when I hear people say, "Oh, but he was abused," or da 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 da. You know, it's not an excuse. In fact, you should be more aware of the mamai, the hurt that you're perpetrating on others because it happened to you. So I never can wear that one as an excuse, and I hear it in courts and that as well. That you got to be lenient on this guy because he's been a victim of abuse. Nah, it's not an excuse. Never an excuse. So good on you, bro, for letting us enlightening us with your kōrero and talking to the world about it. So big ups and mihi to you and aroha to you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So encouraging everybody out there to look out for each other. That's the same message as what we were talking about last month with the green ribbon, and like they are very similar kaupapa, and they relate to each other in many ways, because if you've been a victim of sexual abuse or violence, it can exacerbate your thoughts towards suicide, and that's not good. And this is why we need to encourage people to talk and get help. And I've mentioned before, and I think there are helplines out there. If you can't speak to your whānau, if you can't speak to your peers, if you can't speak to anyone close to you, because maybe you think they won't listen, there are many helplines out there available, and 1737 is a good one. It's a short number to remember, and it's just 1737, and you can talk to trained counsellors. And that might be just one step in your journey to healing and getting better and making your life a better life for yourself mentally, because it's about mental well-being as well. And that's what the Green Ribbon was about. Green Ribbon was about mental well-being and raising the awareness against suicide. And now we're here in November, a month later, talking about anti-violence towards women, but also against our community and our children and other men as well. So we're looking forward to keeping this kaupapa going over the month and talking to some White Ribbon riders and other people about the kaupapa. And like I've said before, the message for this 2019 campaign is to challenge the hashtag unspoken rules, and it's get out of the box, get out of the stereotypical places where you might have been brought up to think where a man should be, and that's rules like be the man, toughen up, boys don't cry. So we're looking forward to carrying on that kaupapa. Matt, you've got something too you want to say to the community too, haven't you, brother?
Oh yeah, almost forgot. We have the food bank Wednesday the 13th at 5 p.m. If you're wondering what that is, it is for struggling families in need of support of food in New Zealand, so they don't go hungry. If you want any information about that, you can go to Food Bank New Zealand website, and you can also apply through them to get help.
What is that, brother? Is that the food bank? Is that a like a drive? Is it?
Yep, it's a food drive.
It's a food drive. So what are people expecting to see?
So usually the fire brigades and the Wairarapa do it.
Okay.
We're the ones that so we go around. There'll be a lot of other volunteering people, and we go through streets, all the way through from Martinborough, so Martinborough Brigade, Pheasant Brigade, Greytown Brigade, Carterton and Marston Brigades, all go through all the streets.
Yep.
And collect food. So some of it's money and food, and that all goes into donations and into boxes and gets sent to the organisation of the food bank.
And what time is all this kicking off?
At 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
on Wednesday the 13th.
On Wednesday the 13th of November, whānau. Listen out, there's going to be, you'll hear them coming, won't you?
Yep, you'll hear the sirens.
You'll hear sirens, and it won't be people chasing people around on motorbikes. It'll be
we can bring in the motorbikes if you want.
Might be, yeah, I won't say any more. But yeah, no, that's a good kaupapa for the community. So listen out for those sirens. And is it happening in all towns? Is this a national event, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's happening in all of the Wairarapa. Is the Wednesday the 13th. I'm not too sure about the other towns. Just the
Okay.
Wairarapa.
Wairarapa. Okay, whakarongo mai Wairarapa whānaus for the sirens at about 5 p.m. And rush out there with non-perishable food items, is it?
Yeah, usually non-perishable. Or like a $2 or $5, you know, they can also
okay.
go a long way, you know, because
So
they
you-
can also buy things and
Mean. So you can rush out there with a donation of money and coins, $100 note or whatever, and give it to the to the fire brigade. That'd
don't
be
worry,
great.
we will not pocket it.
Yeah. No, that might be a bit dodgy. Don't go for the non-perishable food items.
We prefer the food than money,
Yes.
to be honest with you, though.
Yeah, no, I think that might be the
Safe.
safest solution, the safest way to go there. Yeah, so listen out for the sirens on Wednesday the 13th after 5 p.m. and support people in our community by supporting the food bank. Food bank does a lot of good mahi for our community as well. It's another organisation that are looking out for those in need. You know, it's a bit sad in our society when we actually need food banks, but that's the reality of our world today, I suppose. So yeah, thank you for that, kōrero, Matt. Yeah, so everyone get out there and support the food banks and listen for those sirens. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, we're back to the White Ribbon kaupapa and White Ribbon Day on the 25th of November. That's when people will be wearing the white ribbons around the place, and it's about standing up against violence against women. So that's what the white ribbon's about. Got anything to add there, bro?
Yeah, it's getting close to Christmas, and we're talking about food bank and the white ribbon. And usually around Christmas time, it's when violence occurs in the home. It's when men either go off and drink and there's nothing left for them to come home with for their pay packet. It's when there's no food in the house and arguments start and violence occurs. It's about all those things that really White Ribbon's all about at Christmas time. I'd just like to challenge all the men out there this Christmas is to sort your shit out. Make sure that there's food in the cupboards, and if you haven't got enough to afford for your kids when it comes to a present, bloody well make something. Okay, get out there and make something. If you be creative, you'll be surprised at what kids, you know, the look on their faces is enough to reward you, is that you made something for your kid. You don't have to think, oh, I'm broke, I can't buy anything, and then go and piss it down the bloody toilet through a bottle of whiskey. You know, you've got, what's the date today? It's the 7th of November. Okay, so you've got a month and a half before Christmas. That's plenty of time to go out there and start putting a bit of kai away for Christmas Day, making something for your kids, and treat your wife, you know, make her feel special. And that's for you wives too, you know, like make your man feel special too. You know, this is a whole thing. This is a family affair here. I wouldn't like to look in the paper on Boxing Day or the day after when they do the papers and find out there's a whole lot of people that have had violence happen in their household, and they use poverty as an excuse when they've got time to do something. Okay? You don't need that much money. In fact, look, it's a capitalist thing, money, isn't it? Christmas is about being with your family. Go down the river and enjoy yourself with your family. Make some sammies, you know? Don't use it as an excuse for violence, please. That's all I've got to say on that subject.
Kia ora, brother. Yes, respectful relationships is the message again, and being a role model. I'm challenging all men out there, men with problems, to look at yourself and start being a role model for your whānau. And like the brother just mentioned there, if you can't afford, if there's things out there that are causing you to struggle and you can't afford the present, do something, make something with your hands, or just spend some time with your whānau. That's very important. Being the role model for your whānau is a very big influence on the well-being of the whānau. So I encourage men out there to be positive role models for the whānau, for their community. And that's what that's the challenge that men like us are taking up. We're taking up that challenge to speak out about it, to challenge other men about it, and we're going to step up and stop violence and take other men with you. That's one of the messages, one of the key messages. Another key message is to break out of the man box. Start with respect. We've mentioned all night about respect. What kind of man do you want to be? Say yes to respectful relationships and no to violence towards women. Look out for our boys. Raise our boys with respect so they learn how to give respect. Another thing that the White Ribbon talks about is promoting respectful sexual relationships. And we might talk about that later on in the month, about that topic. And so whānau, we're nearing the end of another Tribal Nations Hora Whenua Tūpoko radio show here this evening. So I'd just like to, has anyone got anything more to add before we finish off? Yes, sir.
Talking about the White Ribbon and everything, there's a quote that I just thought of. Men in the present set the attitude towards women into the future. You start today, it'll carry on into tomorrow. If we start treating our women right today, it will follow through into our children, into their children, and into their children. So it's not too late.
Kia ora. Excellent message. Excellent. That's excellent message there, Brother Matt. So on behalf of Te Upoko Tribal Nations Hora Whenua Tribal Nations Motorcycle Club, I'd like to thank everybody here tonight for their contributions to the kōrero about White Ribbon. So thank you, whānau.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Charlene Thompson, my wife, for supporting me here tonight.
Thank you.
Brother Darcy Tilliard, thank you, brother.
Kia ora, kia ora.
Brother Matt Shackleton, thank you, my bro.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for your excellent, heartfelt kōrero, Brother Chris.
Cheers, kia ora.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody.
And I'd just like to say a warm welcome to Chris and Matt here, who's joined the Tribal Nations whānau. Looking forward to a lot of good things happening in the future. Cheer,
bro.
It's an honour, bro.
Yeah, I took all that message too. Welcome aboard. Thank you for supporting our radio show and adding value with your kōrero. And then don't be strangers. We look forward to having you here again. So thanks, Arrow FM. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I hope you picked up a bit of a message with that kōrero there about respectful relationships. So keep up. Everyone have a good, safe week and be nice to each other. And we'll see you next, or you'll hear from us next week. Ka kite.
I'm bringing my team home.